One of the precious jewels in the continent's crown is undoubtedly our women in football. This is the part of the show where we give you the answer to that trivia question before we continue our conversation in women's football. Now, remember that question was, which country is going to host the CAF African Schools Football Championship in 2025? Here to give us the answer to that question is a world-class football analyst who was recently spotted on the shores of Cape Town and managed to bring back nothing for me. Auntie Diski.
So shady. How are you, Ade?
Don't worry, you're forgiven for that sin. Can you give us the answer?
Yeah, the correct answer to that is Ghana. It's going to be taking place in Ghana. I saw some very interesting answers, but Ghana is the correct one.
Ghana is the correct answer to that. Now let's get into the under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers. We just saw what happened in the second round of those qualifiers. Which game stood out to you?
Ade, I want to stop there, and I think we have very important news. I think that we should start with,
Okay.
And I just want to announce to the viewers, we're always celebrating women in football making moves across the globe. We recently had the next move from a player who comes from Angola and makes it the first player to actually sign in USA, and now she joins Kansas City, which we have spoken lengthy about. This is the team that Hilda Magaya used to play for. So, and you know, Flora Lacho is a very phenomenal player. I think people who have been following, you know, the CAF, we saw what she did for TP Mazembe. TP Mazembe is a team that really carries a lot of weight in African football from the men's and the women's side. And them winning CAF, I think really it cemented them as, you know, a new upcoming team in the women's space that really is to be reckoned with. And she was also she was named as one of the best 11, you know, for the camp championship best 11 for the tournament. And now she's been spotted and then she's been given an opportunity, and I'm super happy for her, and I think this is news to definitely celebrate across Africa, because 25 years old, moving into that space, it's something phenomenal and something remarkable.
Something remarkable indeed, and it is worth us celebrating that achievement. Now, looking at the under-17 Women's World Cup qualifiers, I wanted to know which game stood out to you the most.
You know what, I think most of the games really stood out to me, but I'll definitely talk about Botswana versus Nigeria because we managed to go watch it as well in the first leg. But one thing I've noticed about all these matches, the teams that have advanced, they managed to win on both their legs, you know, the first and the second leg. So I think for them, it wasn't a matter of being distracted. You know, we always say that if you lose a home game, chances are you will win. If you lose an away game, chances are you will win a home game. But I think it wasn't in this case. I think the teams that have won really solidified themselves. And I think because of the experience that they have and the kind of players that have selected, they were very much ready. But going back to the Botswana and Nigeria game, Nigeria still won at home. It was going to be a difficult clash for Botswana, especially if they
were playing away from home. So
exactly, and we know how Nigeria has really been a team that has dominated in the African space, and I speak about this all the time, from the development space all the way to the senior team. And I think also stage fright. You know, if we look at most of these under-17s, they've really never been part of a big tournament like this. So I think for them, it's just coming into a space like this without experience also plays a huge role. And we are working with the young minds here who haven't really grasped, you know, the attention and, you know, managing their nerves around, you know, such a big tournament and being away from home. We know the weather as well, it plays a huge role. The fields play a huge role. You are so used to training at a particular field with certain conditions, and then when you go into a different country, they are not yet exposed into all those traveling dynamics that, you know, could play a role in terms of the results. But I definitely think that they did the best that they can. Coach Kumalo and Coach Roda definitely had had the right girls selected, but I think Nigeria had this in the bag from the first leg. That for me, that match stood out for me. I think it is a match that everyone was really looking, to see what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so speaking of what you're looking forward to seeing,
Yeah.
the third round of qualifiers, there's some interesting fixtures there.
Whew.
Which one?
Very interesting, and I just want to maybe give the viewers an idea of the fixtures we have. So in the third round, we are going to be seeing Kenya take on Cameroon. Zambia is going to be taking Benin. Nigeria is going to be facing Algeria, who had a really good scoreline in the past matches, and then Ivory Coast is going to be facing Guinea. I think for me, then we have Ivory Coast who goes up against Guinea. And for me, I will just say that every team, every match that's has Zambia and Nigeria, for me, will be one that stands out because we know how dominating those countries are. So for this one, I'll definitely give it to Nigeria and Algeria. But Kenya and Cameroon, they will speak about it, in the next segment, but Kenya and Cameroon, something is really interesting and exciting about this Kenya team.
Wow, interesting. And next week's show is one you don't want to miss because we have a whole World Cup qualifier special just for your viewing pleasure. Thank you so much, Auntie D. Ski. And thank you so much, SC, for all your insights. And to you and yours, till next time, Ninitanda Nonke Kakulu.